Steam's got a class action lawsuit coming after it. The FTC is going after scammers, Microsoft, and Uber, and we got details on when Battlemage is going to be hitting the streets. Let's get into the hot news, everybody. I'm your Brett host. We're going to be going over the hottest tech news that I can find on the internet while you enjoy your breakfast this Friday, November 29th, 2024. As a reminder, we will be doing a Black Friday deals live stream today where you can come check Reece. He'll have his certified bangers list of deals that are out there, making sure that whatever you see on tech that you're trying to buy is accurately a good sale and not just something that got marked up previously. Reece is going to make sure, as the deal master, that you're dealed up. And if you come watch the stream over on Twitch, we will be streaming on YouTube, but if you watch it on Twitch, you can enter the giveaway for this PC right here, 9950X 4080 Super and a Thermaltake Tower 600. We'd love to have you over there, but it turns out not everybody loves to be on Steam. Some game developers think that Steam just actually charges too much money for them to be on the platform. And this has been an ongoing lawsuit with a game developer suing Steam for this. It was supposed to be an antitrust lawsuit from Wolfire Games, but the judge said, hey, this doesn't really work, refactor it, and then they came out and said that, oh, hey, we'll just make this a class action lawsuit, which means that part of the discovery process is going to be other people who feel like they've been wronged by Valve and all of the money that they're charging on their platform can join in on this lawsuit and bring it against Valve moving forward. Specifically, that all persons or entities who, directly or through an agent, paid a commission to Valve in connection with the sale or use of a game on the Steam platform on or after January 28, 2017, and continuing through the present until the effects of its schemes are eliminated. So that applies to a whole lot of different game developers, and whether or not they want to join in on it moving forward remains to be seen, but the idea is that Valve's commission of 30% if you're just a regular game and 20% if you're a very high selling game is too much, especially when you look at things like Microsoft and Epic Games Store, which charge 12%. However, Valve has always defended this, saying that it's 30% is just industry standard, especially when you look at things like Sony's PlayStation Store, you look at Apple's App Store, or even the Android Play Store. It makes it so that the 30% Steam charges is kind of competitive with everybody else, especially because there are options out there where you're not locked down on PC is the general idea. So we have to wait and see how this lawsuit plays out, but it expands the scope from just one developer suing Valve because they didn't like it to now making it so that there could be a camaraderie of people who are disenfranchised against Valve, saying that they want some change in the gaming PC market. We'll see how that moves forward. Maybe Gaben won't be able to buy his 15th yacht. Who knows how it'll happen. But obviously we're here about PC gaming. We love playing games on our PC, and in case you want to play games in your new PC, you should check out today's video sponsor. It's official, Silverstone has broken into the world of backside connection motherboards, and they've also sponsored this video. Silverstone's SETA A2 is their first official case to support motherboards with backside connectors, or BTF. While this is brand new to Silverstone, their years of creating beautiful and functional cases shows through. Of course, you can use this case for the best full ATX motherboards too, as it supports up to SSI CEB form factor. This case is almost ridiculous in its ability to be two cases in one. As a gaming PC case, you can fit any cooler card, no matter their size. It can fit up to 3 420mm radiators simultaneously. As a workstation case, you can fit up to 16 2.5-inch drives or 10 3.5-inch drives plus 2 2.5-inch. The icing on the cake is this model's sharp-looking vented metal bezel that is available in traditional black or eye-catching gold color. I gotta say, this white and gold combo really is clean, so we knew that was the one we had to get in the UFD office. Make the most out of your next case upgrade and plan for the future of motherboards by checking out the SETA A2 from Silverstone. The link is in the description below. As always, a huge thanks to Silverstone for sponsoring. Well, if you're buying the Silverstone SETA A2, I'm not necessarily concerned about you falling for telemarketer scams, because the average age of people who fall for this is quite higher and the barrier for technical savviness is a little bit lower, but the FTC is coming out and changing one of the loopholes that has made it so that people can fall prey to some of these telemarketing scams. Because there's been existing telemarketing rules about what you can and can't do with people's phone numbers, when you can and can't call them, but for the longest time it's only applied to outbound calls, which means that if somebody found a malware pop-up saying that, oh no, your PC's been infected, you have to contact tech support at this number, and then your grandma calls that number, well then it lends itself to not violating violating those telemarketer rules. So the FTC is expanding it just a little bit to make it easier to prosecute so that the outbound and inbound rules are basically identical, making it so that the people who are getting preyed on, even if they're less tech savvy on the internet, they're still being protected in the same way that they would be if they received a phone call. So that's the general idea there. But that's not where the FTC is stopping. It's being found out that FTC is looking to go after Microsoft right now because they've been doing informal investigations, interviews for an antitrust investigation against Microsoft. They've now concluded that, and they're beginning their official antitrust investigation against Microsoft, specifically in regards to a whole bunch of different services and softwares that they offer. One of the big things that's brought up is the things like Microsoft Teams being included with all of this Microsoft Office software, making it very difficult for companies like Slack and Zoom to have the upper edge on them because of just the bundling of all of Microsoft software together. So this is something that the US government has already been investigating into other companies. NVIDIA is kind of being investigated by the Department of Justice right now. Microsoft looks like they're getting investigated as well. And then Uber being added onto that list of the FTC investigation specifically for their subscription practices. We talked recently about how the new click to cancel rule came out from the FTC here in the United States, meaning that anytime you sign up for something, the company then has to provide a way for you to cancel that subscription in the manner that was just as easy to sign up. So this affects things like Planet Fitness, who makes it very difficult to cancel. You have to physically go in or write a letter when you can just sign up online. So it affects that, but also apparently with Uber and their Uber One subscription, the cancellation process is significantly more difficult than just signing up. And so now the FTC is looking into them. And a few people have been looking into what's going on with the Lenovo Legion Go S, the smaller handheld, the Lite that is supposed to be coming out. And there's new details being popped up about this, and specifically the APU that's going to be in the Legion Go S. Zen 3 Plus RDNA 2 is the APU that we're expecting to be in there. It was leaked in a firmware update from Lenovo, putting it on their own website, and that's essentially just slightly cutting down the CPU versus the regular Legion Go, which has a Z1 Extreme, but keeping the 12 compute units, but making it a generation older. So I think this is actually going to be potentially better than a Z1 gaming handheld. The RG Ally with its Z1 is just so much worse with only 4 compute units. I'd rather have a generation older, lose a few IPC points, lose a few generational improvements, but still maintain that bulk of the performance with the compute units. I think this is a nice deal. Speaking of deals, let's see what Reece puts in the video while he preps you for the live stream today.
Yo, welcome back to UFD Deals, bringing the hottest tech deals out on the internet. It is Black Friday, my friends, which it's a good day to be me, the deals guy, because they're rolling in fast and furious already. But don't forget, we're going to be doing a live stream later on today where we as a community source deals, rate them, and then add them to the certified bangers list, so you might find something you're looking for. But with that out of the way, we'll jump straight into the deals today, starting off with the Mackie CR4 XBT 4-inch Bluetooth speakers, going for only $101.10, making it $48.89 off. But then speaking of little guys, we have this Corsair MP600 Core Mini NVMe M.2 SSD, specifically the 2TB version, is going for $109.99 with the included promo code, making it $50 off. But then another mini guy is this Jackery Explorer 1000 V2 portable power station, which you can pick up for only $349 with the coupon applied, making it $450 off. And then lastly, today we have the Power Color Hellhound Spectral. This white Radeon RX 7900 XTX is going for only $819.99, making it $180 off. White graphics cards are notoriously hard to find, especially on the higher end, for a decent price, so hey, this might be the best one we get for Black Friday. But them's the deals. You can find these and more linked in the video description down below. But until next time, I'm gonna hand you off back to Brett. But don't forget, we're doing a live stream later on, so come and join us. You know, you might find something you like. Cheers.
Well, Reece, it looks like Intel got a good deal when it came to the CHIPS Act. We talked about this earlier this week, that the US government is going to be funding Intel's ability to expand here in the United States. They're getting roughly $8 billion out of this CHIPS Act. It's $600 million less than they otherwise were going to get because of just some changes in Intel's schedule for things like the Ohio fabrication facility. But it's being found out that this CHIPS Act is coming with a caveat that Intel cannot sell off their foundry business, which is quite a big deal because the foundry business is where Intel is losing the vast majority of its money right now. In 2023 alone, they lost over $7 billion to IFS, and then they've lost over $1 billion in this year as well. So this $8 billion that Intel is getting doesn't even make up for the loss that they've taken over the last 2 years. So Intel can't actually sell this, especially with the US government's investment saying that since they're investing in it, they can't be divested from it and make it so that another company can acquire it. However, that doesn't stop them from spinning it off. That's been one of the discussions that's come up about how can Intel kind of improve their balance sheet, and that is turn the Foundry service into a separate company. And if Intel wanted to do that, they would have to maintain the majority ownership, 50.1%, and then no single investor outside of Intel could have more than 35%. So Intel still stays in control of everything that's happening with the Foundry services, even if it's divested from the main corporation, and potentially help to stymie some of the bleeding that's going on financially with Intel. But Intel can't stymie the leaks because they keep coming and coming and coming for the Intel Battlemage cards. Video cards having an exclusive leak on when we can expect the announcement, the reviews, and the street date for Battlemage, as well as which cards are going to be coming out. So there's 2 GPUs that we're anticipating being announced on December 3rd. So that's just this coming Tuesday that we're expecting Intel to come out and tell us about Battlemage. Then on the 12th, we're gonna get the launch and reviews of the Intel reference board, the limited edition ones that they sell themselves, and then third-party board partner cards will have reviews out on the 13th. So this coming Tuesday is when we're expecting the announcement. The following Thursday is when we should be able to purchase them ourselves. And it's gonna be 2 different models, the B580 that we've been seeing in all of these different leaks that have been coming out, either with benchmarks or the pricing, and then a slightly cut down version of the B570. There's not much known about this model just yet. Video Cards is indicating that this should have roughly 2 fewer XE cores. It's not quite clear how much performance that would lose, what the price would be. We did talk about in yesterday's episode of Hot News the leaked pricing of Battlemage, indicating that it's kind of around $250, which is a over 35% price hike from the previous A580. Some details in a new video Intel put out with Tap or Tom Peterson, with just saying Battlemage is next. And so we do know that it's incoming. And there's a further rumor that came out that Intel is not stopping with Battlemage when it comes to discrete GPUs. We can expect Celestial, which we have already been discussed about with Intel, and then Druid potentially coming after that. However, one of the key things to note is that Intel is allegedly canceling the discrete laptop Battlemage card. So you shouldn't be able to get a B580 mobile according to this new rumor, and then Celestial should potentially arrive at the end of 2025 or early 2026. So a lot of stuff is happening in the Intel GPU department. We did obviously have that leaked benchmark of Geekbench OpenCL score from yesterday's episode of Hot News. That benchmark hopefully isn't reflective of the actual real world performance, which I certainly don't believe it is, considering what Lunar Lake performs like with its XC2 graphics, scaling that up into a desktop chip. I am looking forward to it, but you guys had a lot to say in yesterday's episode in the comments, so let's go take a look at that. Robloxian saying, I still remember the leaks of the B890 being the speed of a 4080, and it would be just $500, releasing in spring 2024 with Arrow Lake in late 2023. What a lame year it has been. I don't think I've ever heard of that. Personally, I don't remember ever hearing of the B890. The Arrow Lake thing in late 2023 is accurate. That was in Intel's official roadmap, and it's been continuously delayed. So yes, a big bummer there. But the B890, I've never heard that that was going to exist. Yeah, just even searching the description of any of our videos for B890, never talked about it. I don't think that would have been a legitimate leak or a legitimate rumor. Yeah, that would be disappointing if that never happened, but I never heard of it. And then Trilliusdom saying, we do not even know how Battlemage performs. Chill, dude, it will be better than Alchemist, that's for sure. I am chill. I'm not bothered by this. I'm just pointing out all the information that we currently have. That's the current information doesn't look good. And I said multiple times in yesterday's episode that hopefully this isn't the case. It shouldn't be this case. If it is this case, it's really bad and it's not going to be worth buying, but I don't necessarily hold these to be the actual either performance numbers or I really hope it's not $250. I think that's way too expensive. There's an upcoming comment that I want to discuss surrounding that, but let's get to a couple more in between. Magnus saying, I'm waiting for the B770, hoping to see the same 16 or even 24 gigabytes of VRAM and no hardware issues that A770 has, plus normal compatibility for games. I hope the B770 does get launched. Hopefully it's in like Q1 of next year, especially with the B580 and B570 looking like they're the cards that are gonna get launched. I would also hope 24 gigs, that does make a lot of sense. I don't know what hardware issues you're talking about. I don't recall the A770 having any hardware issues or like any defects. There's a lot of driver issues, and I really hope those get resolved, but I don't remember any hardware issues. And then Kei Kato saying, dude, the touchpads are mad ugly on the controller. They need to get out of town with that stuff. I agree. I think the Steam controller too looks hideous after having a Steam Deck for quite so many months. They're very functional. I can take the ugly controller for the added functionality of the touchpads. I think the point of the controller is to use it. And so I think it's an added usability thing, even if it's a goofy little guy. And then this is the comment that I wanted to discuss from Jackson saying, I don't understand why people are talking about the B580 at all. Most outlets didn't sell anything below the A750, and I'd argue that only enthusiasts even knew there were ARC cards below the A750. If the RTX 5020 leaked and only had 4 gigabytes of VRAM, would we make fun of it or applaud the cheap option intended for non-gamers/editors? It was my understanding that nothing below A750 was intended for gaming or performance. They're manufactured because some CPUs don't come with graphics, right? I just hope the price is wrong. So I hear you, and that is one of the things that I'm kind of trying to discuss here, is that most people weren't aware of the A580. And then there's a lot of discussion of the $250 price point for the B580 being sensible, even though it's a 40% price hike. However, the conversation that I've seen with the B580 is that it's supposed to be allegedly between a 4060 and a 4060 Ti in performance. And if that's $250, that's an okay value, right? Because the 4060 comes in at $299. You can find it on sale for like $270, but it's not a good enough value for Intel to win because people still won't trust them because of the driver bugginess that's going on. Would you spend $250 on slightly better than a 4060 but buggy drivers, or would you spend the $300, know that you're gonna get solid drivers, and then just get slightly worse performance? I think the market has shown, even with AMD, that people are going to choose NVIDIA in that instance. So the reason people are talking about the B580 is because that's all we have right now, and that, according to today's leaks, is that that's what's going to launch. So yes, I agree with you, the A580 wasn't discussed in a whole lot of places. The A770, A750, and the A310 were kind of the bigger cards that a lot of people knew about. But I want us to have clear expectations of what this B580 situation is. $250 is a price hike. A massive one, a 40% price hike roughly, a little bit less than that, but it's a significant price increase. And unless the performance is significantly higher than even the A770, then it doesn't make any sense. Yes, it would be cheaper than the A770, which came in at $330, but it's a mid-tier card. It's not the flagship card. And so I just want us to have a good thought around this of like, what is Intel doing here? Let's have our expectations in the proper place. A $250 B580 better perform really good. Or if the B580 doesn't perform really good, it better be cheaper. That's my thoughts. But those are the end of those thoughts because it's the end of hot news. Don't forget, we got the Black Friday deal stream. Reece should have a Cyber Monday one as well. We have the PC giveaway. You can come check us out over on Twitch for that. I should be back on Tuesday for more of the hottest tech news then. See you back.